One of the things that makes your PrimusRS so unique is the ability to do a full assessment of the upper or lower extremity. In particular, you can do an evaluation that is going to look at isometric strength, the ability to perform a quick, rapid movement, a power test, or an endurance test to look at how we can sustain our strength over time. Those are just three of the many different types of tests that we can perform using our PrimusRS. The first part of your evaluation is going to consist of the isometric test. For this test, we're going to make sure that the joint is positioned correctly in the midpoint of range. When we get the joint in that angle, we want to confirm that the axis point of rotation is lined up directly into the humerus. Once we have the joint angle and axis of rotation set correctly, we're going to lock the workhead and we're ready to perform our first isometric trial. Now that we're ready for our first isometric trial, we want to make sure that we've instructed our patient how to correctly position their body and to perform the test. Go ahead and lock the shaft of the workhead and let our patient practice one trial. At that point, you're showing them what an isometric test is, where the tool is not going to move as they perform a contraction. After you've let your patient practice the first trial, we're now ready to perform the assessment. Go ahead and confirm that we have the joint angle set correctly. When we press the start button, we're going to give the cue to our patient to pull downward and begin. And relax. After 3 seconds, the software will pause. At that point, we're going to take a short break, 5 to 10 seconds, and then we're going to repeat the trial and begin. Relax. Short break and begin. And relax. After you've completed the 3 trials, review your data, determine whether or not you need to perform a retrial, and if everything looks satisfactory, move on to the right side. After you perform the isometric test, you can now move on and do your dynamic testing. In this case, we have set the next test to be our power test. The power test is going to use 50% of the isometric strength as a resistance. This is going to be a 10-second test where we're going to have our patient move as fast as they possibly can through as much range as they can. When you're ready to begin, after letting them practice and feel the resistance, set them into the externally rotated position, press your start button, unlock, ready, and begin. After 10 seconds, the trial is ended. We only do one trial. The endurance test is going to last for as long as your client can comfortably move through the functional range of motion or until they tell you they can no longer continue. At that point, press stop on the screen and you have finished your endurance test.